Hey JUMC, welcome to today's staff moment. Today you find me in our living room next to our Christmas tree, ready for Christmas, waiting in this Advent season, in the season of preparation. Josh and I also find that we are waiting the birth of our little girl. Now she is due in March, so we still have a little bit of time, but we are beginning to prepare for her coming. And so we have begun to clean out the room that will be her nursery in the coming days. And I was cleaning out a few things a week ago or so, and I ran across some of my old craft supplies. And one of the things that I ran across were some of my knitting needles and some yarn, and it reminded me that I used to knit. I was never a very skilled knitter. I could knit a washcloth and a scarf, and that was the extent of my skills. I don't have the skills like some of you ladies in the congregation do. I know those in our knitting ministry, they knit prayer shawls and baby blankets for our members and for babies. And so we also have a skilled knitter in Josh's congregation. When she found out that I was pregnant, she began to knit a baby blanket for our little girl. And so she gave it to us just a few weeks ago, and I wanted to share it with you guys because it's such a beautiful blanket with lots of details. I like the little heart details and the different stitching in it that she put into it. And as I look at this blanket and as I've looked at all the stitches, I realized that in every stitch that she made, she did a turn of her wrist and the working of her hand, and that she put every single stitch into it by moving and working her hands. Thousands and thousands of stitches went into this blanket, and it made this beautiful creation that our little girl will one day enjoy and be able to snuggle up in and stay warm in. And as I think about stitching things together, it makes me think of the psalmist's words in Psalm 119. He writes, "For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body." And I read this passage today in a new light, knowing that God is currently knitting together our little girl in my womb. That God is working at every detail and every little stitch as He creates and He forms her. That He is knitting together her beautiful little eyelids and her sweet little nose and her cute lips and all her fingers and toes. Now, knowing this, I put in some requests here and there with God. I asked God to just knit in a little bit of Josh's sweetness into her and maybe knit in a little bit of my feist. I have requests, but I know that God is knitting her together and He is making her fearfully and wonderfully made. And as we move closer to Christmas in this Advent season, it makes me think of pregnant Mary, awaiting anxiously the birth of her son, the birth of the Christ child. God is putting in the final stitches of this beautiful God child who will be called Emmanuel, God with us. And I'm sure Mary is wondering what this Christ child will be like, what this God man will be like, and what can she expect. And I'm sure she's eagerly anticipating His coming. And so as we wait in expectation with Mary this Advent season, I wonder what God is stitching together in your life. I wonder what God is working and knitting together in your life. What new things is God working? What new things is God creating? Because we believe that God is always working and making things new. And so during this Advent season, may we be hopeful that newness in our life is soon to come. Maybe newness that we cannot see yet, but newness that we hope for. So that when we celebrate on Christmas Day that Jesus is born, that we can also celebrate that new birth and new life is also happening within our own lives. And so my prayer for you this Advent season is that you could anxiously hope and await the newness that is to come, that God is working on in your own lives. Thanks for taking time with me today. Have a great weekend. Bye.